it's Huck. And I thought I would take this occasion here. Now, I should be at work today. But then, this is yet another day in a long line of days that I have not been able to go to work. I was actually scheduled to go back to work a couple of times. And it seemed that, a day or two before I was scheduled to go back, something would come up. Either my breathing would flare up really bad again, or the latest scare has been something I don't know. Maybe in an indirect way related to my breathing, not really. I think I mentioned on a video that I posted recently that, I was rushed to the hospital. I literally thought I was dying, and it didn't seem necessarily related to my breathing. Anyway, by the time I got there, or shortly after I got there, I was feeling better. And apparently none of the tests, came back positive for anything. They took every blood test, I think, known to man. They hooked up all the wires to my chest and were checking my heart, and I don't know. Anyway, they couldn't find anything wrong. They sent me back. I couldn't even describe what it was I was feeling at the time that I suffered this attack. Since that time, I've had 2 or 3 further episodes of it. 1 or 2 of them as bad as the first one, but once I called the ambulance, but by the time they came, I was okay, and so I sent them on their way. Anyway, I was scheduled to go in to see my doctor last week. It was Tuesday. And I had every reason to believe I was going to be just going in there to finally have him clear me to go back to work. Now, I've been off since February 1st, first day I missed. It is now like March 23rd or 4th or something. I don't know. It's Wednesday. And anyway, I've been having off and on these little episodes. Well, that morning, I wasn't feeling too good, feeling a little dizzy when I went into the doctor's office. And by the time I got there, which it's only a few blocks away, I was having a full-blown episode of this thing. I mean, I literally didn't know what was wrong. I was real dizzy, kind of nauseated. You feel like you're on the verge of literally passing out. And very scary feeling. I can't really compare it to anything else I've ever experienced. But been having a couple of these things. Finally, I know the poor girls inside the doctor's office, they kept sending people out, one to take my blood pressure, one to take my oxygen reading. They finally got me in to see the doctor, and he came in real confidently saying he knew what was wrong. Anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and he said they're very difficult to kind of put a handle on, but seemed like I was having some of the classic symptoms. Now, since he mentioned that Tuesday, he's also suggested that he may have to prescribe me something for that, and I told him I really didn't want any medications for this. Telling him that, look, I realize, they probably may help me with that if that's what the problem is, but I'm more worried about what else they would do. And I've been lately having a lot of problems having reactions to certain medications I've been taking. Most recently was these little pills, this is something called Dalaresp, which is, I don't know, I always thought it was a kind of a synthetic like steroid, like prednisone, but apparently it's something else. Anyway, prednisone they don't want to leave you on any longer than they have to, and they wean you off of it, all within a week or two. And this is something I guess you can take every day. My lung doctor prescribed me these, told me to take one every day. I was taking one every day for about, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. When these episodes, anxiety attacks, if that's what they are, started happening. And the thing is, they would come up when I was perfectly at rest watching TV, doing absolutely nothing. We're sitting still, going over my bills, which I can't pay. At any rate, I went in to see the doctor Tuesday. I was having one of these attacks at the time I arrived at his office. And by the time I actually saw him, which was a good 45 minutes after I arrived, it had subsided. I was feeling substantially better. Anyway, he was confident that what I was having was an anxiety attack. He thinks brought on partly by all of the stress and, not just the fact that I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to work. My doctor keeps telling me that I, should file for disability. He keeps telling me that he has other, patients who are, less disabled than I am, and yet they're on disability. And of course, my answer to that is always, I have no place to go for the next, 3 months to a year and a half while I wait to see whether or not I would get approved for disability. I never saw myself as one that would be, collecting disability checks, at the age of 58. And if there's any way I can avoid it, I would, I'm kind of wired to avoiding that sort of thing. But beyond that, I have no place to go. I mean, if I were to file for disability and not work for the next 3 to 18 months or whatever it takes for... My understanding is that if you file for disability, something like 70 to 85% of the time, your first application is rejected. And it takes approximately 3 months to get that application through the initial process before it is even rejected. And then beyond that, once it's rejected, in Ohio, depending on what, there's offices in Columbus, Cleveland, and I think Akron, the average wait time to hear your rejection appeal is something like anywhere from, I think the shortest is something like 429 days, longest is 580 some days. So it's like, well over a year and a half before a determination would even be made approving it, if it ultimately was approved. My doctor assures me I would be approved. But the fact is, I have nowhere to go. I have nobody's going to take care of me for the next, year and a half, or 3 months for that matter. I've gone as long as I can possibly go without income. I have been helped to the tune of really hundreds of dollars a month. Of course, it's not nearly enough to pay all of the, the house payment alone is, $439 a month, and then there's the gas bill, which I haven't paid now since January, and I owe them about $300. But I have paid everything else. I've paid the house payment, I've paid the electric bill, I've paid, my phone bill, my car insurance, and so for the month of February, I'm paid up, except for the gas bill. For the month of March, I'm paid up, except for the gas bill. And but the trouble is, now comes April. Their bills for April are already coming in, and there is no way. The only way I was able to get all the bills paid this month, March, was because I sold a $300 set of bookcases that I have, 3 beautiful bookcases. If you watch the second video I ever posted, I blame Bush. I think I updated that. I think I uploaded that way back in like March or April of 2010. Anyway, I am sitting in front of those bookcases. I don't know if I've ever done another video in front of those, but those are beautiful bookcases. I went way out of my way to find those a few years ago and bought them used. and I sold them, and I was heartbroken to sell those because, well, you know, it's kind of like the riding lawnmower that I sold over the summer. You know, these are things that you know you'll never be able to replace. I've also been in the process of selling other things, although not worth as much money, you know. And the trouble is I'm really running out of things to sell. One thing I've decided I'm going to try very hard not to sell is the guitar. You know, Dustin from Vegas was kind enough to send me a guitar well over a month ago, and I have been playing it when I am feeling well enough. I've not really been well enough to sing, I'll be honest with you, and that's the only reason why I haven't posted a video doing a song. But I want Dustin to know that you know, I still have a guitar. I would never sell that. That was a gift, and it would be just wrong on so many levels. So before the video is over, I will show you I do indeed have the guitar. Here we are. I promised I would let Dustin of Vegas know. Dustin was kind enough, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, I think, to send me this. I had sold my other guitars, and I had gone quite a while without posting any music. And out of the kindness of his heart, Dustin sent me this guitar. It's this beautiful guitar with an amazing hard case that it came with. And at any rate, I just wanted to show you. I think today is what, Thursday, March. Check the calendar. March 26th. I get my dates messed up. At any rate, I apologize. I've not been able to. Just not been feeling up to singing anything. In fact, I haven't even played this, I think, for the last maybe 2 weeks. It's been sitting in the box, so it's probably a little out of tune. Actually, I haven't played this for at least, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks now. And my voice just hasn't been up to it. I don't know if it's the medications I'm taking for my breathing or some other, you know, reason that my voices seem to have dropped. But my wind is such that I just can't catch my breath, and I don't want to post you know, another music performance for anybody until I feel like I can do it justice. And I'm hoping maybe my natural voice range may be coming back here eventually, maybe when I can take a little less treatment than I've been taking. But for now, at least, I'm going to shoot for the next 30 days. Sometime in the next 30 days, I hope maybe I can post another video. But pretty much anything else I own is up for grabs. I've sold a small TV I had. I have sold, I'm going back to selling some of my other cherished items. You know, I have some albums still that I'm going to try to sell. Trouble is, nobody's buying anything, you know. I offer, some of these items are on eBay, some of them are offered on Craigslist. It's just apparently not buying season right now, or my items just are not in demand. But I wanted to update everybody on what's been going on. I actually felt good after I saw my doctor Tuesday. Wednesday I had a headache all day, and I never get headaches, never. But I did get a headache Wednesday, and it lasted all day. Strange, I don't get headaches, so I don't know how they're supposed to feel, but this one just felt like pressure all over my head. The front and the back, I had body aches all over, but it was mostly a headache. And it was so bad I went to bed like ridiculously early that day. The next day, Thursday, I still felt a little queasy, a little lightheaded. But it was that Tuesday that I went to the doctor, that day that I quit taking the Delarest. And by Friday, I was starting to feel better. You know, I wasn't having the lightheadedness and the dizziness. Felt a little bit better Friday. I felt a little bit better Saturday. Sunday, I thought, hey, I'm maybe over this. I'm going to have to go in to see my doctor and maybe think about going back to work. Of course, my breathing is still for shit. But I have got to try to get back to work. And the trouble is, it's still been cold here in Ohio. And I mean, it was really cold here the last few days, especially in the mornings when I'd have to get up and go to work. And again in the evenings when I get off. So, looking at the weather and taking my doctor's advice and thinks I should just immediately, he keeps telling me you're not going back to work. Until I tell him, look, send me back to work. I'm going to, make me out a slip to go back to work, Anyway, so I was going to go back to work Monday. And I was going to try to get in to see him Monday morning. And unfortunately, I had another little spell Sunday evening. And I thought, this isn't good. I gave up that medication. And I thought that's what was bringing it on. But I had a little spell. It wasn't quite as severe as some of the other ones were. But I had this lightheadedness, dizziness. Every time I stood up, I felt like I was going to fall down. So I ended up going to bed early Sunday. I ended up having to, turn out my doctor wasn't in Monday, so I had to make an appointment, go in and see him Tuesday. And of course, the first thing he said to me Tuesday after I told him what had happened, I said, why don't we schedule me to go back to work at the end of this week? Let me have a few days, see if I have any more episodes. I'll keep working on my breathing treatments. And, now that it's warming up, maybe I can get there. Maybe I can work. And of course, like every time he sees me, his words, his message to me was basically, Dave, I don't think you're going to be able to work. If you do go to work, you're not going to be there long. But he agreed to send me back to work. So we are scheduling Sunday as the day I'm going to try to go back. Sunday is the big day. Now, the trouble is I've missed another whole pay period. And I'll tell you, things look pretty grim on this end financially, but like I said, I have been receiving some help, and I have been working my tail off trying to sell things that you do what you got to do, and right now I've been trying to sell what I have that can be sold. I have some things that nobody's going to buy. I have plenty of things I'd be willing to part with that nobody would buy. Frankly, because they're worth nothing. My car is falling apart. I am driving on a tire. This has been true for 2 months now. The sidewall of my tire has 2 big bubbles on them. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing I busted a steel belt in the radial there. I don't know, but one bubble is as big as my fist. The other one's a little smaller. And I'm so worried I'm going to get a blowout. But I don't have the money to buy a tire. And, right now, money is so tight. I can't even spend the $20, $25 it would cost me to buy a used tire, and have it slapped on. So, that's kind of my hope, is that my tire doesn't give out before I can afford to get a tire put on there. But, when you're debating on, I left five different medications at the pharmacy a couple of weeks ago that I could not get out because I didn't have the copay. Well, I lost my health insurance because I were not able to make any payments for the month of February at all. And now I'm well into March and I haven't made any payments. The copays that they take out of your pay. Well, apparently, I was expecting that when I was going to go back to work, they were going to take out double payments each pay. Normally they take $115 out every pay, twice a month. So it's like $230 a month. But I just assume, well, when I go back, they're going to take out double payments, going to be caught up, which would have been enough of a nightmare. But Nobody told me this. There is an open enrollment period, and I guess it was in February, and I had until like February 8th or something to renew my health insurance. Well, I wasn't at work on February 8th. I wasn't at work that whole week. I wasn't at work that whole month. Now, I have been in contact several times with, the HR department at work. In fact, twice I've gone in and talked to them personally. But beyond that, at least once a week or so, my doctor has contacted the HR department to keep them abreast of how long I'm going to be off. And, keep updating me on that. Well, despite all of those contacts with HR, nobody at HR, including when I went in there personally, ever informed me that my health insurance was going to run out at the end of February. I found that out after the end of February. I found that out in early March, that I no longer had health care insurance. So there's good news and there's bad news with that. The good news is that they're not taking, they're not going to be taking $230 out every pay so I can get caught up. The other good news is that if I do return to work, I have 60 days from the end of February, I guess, to sign up for Obamacare, which I don't exactly know what it'll cost me, but based on my income, I'm guessing it's going to be a lot cheaper, probably about half the cost of what I was paying for the health insurance I had at work, if not even less. So that's one option, an option that I have approximately another, 5 or 6 weeks to explore. But it's, trouble is, even to sign up with that, of course you got to be working because you got to pay whatever the premiums are going to be, and they won't sign you up until you make your first premium. I don't know what those premiums are going to be. I'm also signing up for, I'm going to what we call in Ohio Jobs and Family Services, where you sign up for food stamps and you sign up for, any other aid that you can get. I don't know what's available. If I was on disability, I'd probably be eligible for like a medical card, Medicaid or whatever. And I'm definitely going to look into that, because at this point I have nothing. And I certainly haven't worked in the last 6 or 7 weeks, so I may be eligible for an emergency Medicaid card, at least temporarily, if not, I don't know. I don't know how that works, because I haven't officially, applied for disability, and I don't know. I think the truth is I've got to contact a lawyer, and a couple people have, referred a lawyer or two to me to apply for disability, and I don't know if I'm going to go that route or not, but my understanding is these attorneys generally won't take any money from you up front, but then they want, once your disability claim is approved, whenever that is in the future, the attorneys then take like 1/3 or maybe as much as 40% of whatever you have coming to you, in back pay. Well, see, the problem with that is then, problem with that approach then is that the longer you're delayed, it seems to me the more they're likely to get paid. So I'm not sure that that's fucking. Anyway, a lot of weird things happened this week in politics. For instance, Senator Ted Cruz threw his 2 horns in the ring, and the Rodney Dangerfield of the presidential field has started a startup pack. I don't know what you call it, a draft Biden movement. Joe Biden is like in my mind, he's really the Rodney Dangerfield of the Democratic Party. It's like, here's a guy that's probably as qualified, maybe even more qualified than anybody else running for president. You think of all of his years, working in the Senate, served now as vice president. Obama has turned to Biden in a number of really important areas, whether it be these negotiations with Iran, where he sat at the table in some of these negotiations, whether it was when Republicans threatened to shut down the government over a budget impasse. Biden was the one that negotiated the deal that got that all fixed. And at any rate, he's got a reputation as somewhat, being somewhat of a buffoon, and being way too touchy-feely for some people's taste. But the truth is, there's a serious side to Joe Biden. And if you look at just his positions and the things that he's been able, the legislation that he's had a hand in, he checks almost all of the boxes that a progressive Democrat like me would like to see checked. Now, that's not to say that he's the perfect candidate. He's not. Policy-wise, there's still a few shortcomings, and that's going to be true of pretty much any name you throw out there, including, for you progressives out there, including Elizabeth Warren. But I really think that Biden, as a candidate, worries me only because I don't know that he's electable. But as a politician, actually doing the job, I like him quite a bit. Anyway, I'm going to have something on all of that on my political channel here, which I hope to upload maybe tomorrow, if I get a chance to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to update you on what's going on. At this point, I'm still off of work. I'm shooting for Sunday as a possible day to go back. God, I'm not going to get a paycheck for like 3.5 weeks. Unbelievable.